Welcome guys to the European Formula Racing League. That's the EFRL. This round one for them at Australia right now, and should be quite an interesting session because we're going to be doing a full qualifying. So we're going to be going through all three of the qualifying sessions. That's Q1, Q2, and Q3, and then we get straight into our 50% race. Of course, let's see how well these drivers are about to how well they're gonna get through qualifying one, because we have an entirely full grid, which is always lovely to see. We got a full grid of 20 drivers right now, which basically means we're only gonna have 15 drivers. That's gonna be the top 15 making it over to qualifying two, and then they're gonna have to fight their way all over again in that session for short period of time, as we're going to talk about in just a bit, just to get over into qualifying three. Of course, it's only going to be the top 10 making it into qualifying three, and then you're just battling it out for the best possible grid spot to start the Australian Grand Prix here today, which we're really looking forward to as the first race for this season for them. Should be quite interesting. And we know how Australia usually goes. Always usually the first track in the Formula One calendar for a year, and turn one is always so heavily regarded as one of the most interesting points in that race. Just a very short run to get down into turn one, and we're gonna see how drivers do attempt to do that. Right now we are gonna just have a look at how many drivers we have on track, which is quite a few to say, and I've seen some of them are already at the end of their out lap and getting onto the hot lap already, if not already on their hot lap going. So we should be starting to see some qualifying times being put in here very shortly. Let's just make sure everything is good on our streams end, which seems to be okay so far. We will be talking a bit about the drivers in just a bit, or just to have a look at what's happening right now. We're not going to keep too much information on screen. Usually we do keep what tire these guys are currently running on. We really don't need the telemetry too much right now. We can keep that lap time on. Usually when I'm doing these race streams with a commentary, I do tend to keep our full track map on, just so that we can have an idea of how busy our track really is, and at what point most of our drivers are, which they're usually color coded, so it's kind of easy to just tell what's actually happening on track here. So we're already starting to see some lap time in. Currently our provisional poll for this session, with just under 14 minutes left, is Groot. He has about 121.9 right now, followed by Prozisek. They're 122. Not too bad of a lap time actually, with the only 121 so far. He's holding on pretty good up front, but we got Prozisek there. He is not too far off, and Tassi goes to the 122.012. He's just about 2,000ths of a second off, so that lap time is actually pretty close between the two of them there. We'll also get to teammates, which you actually will be able to see depending on the color codes as we have on screen at the moment there as well. So we have a few more lap times coming in, and it's proving to be quite interesting, as these lap times are actually pretty close together. I think Fake Assassin there, he just did a bad lap. We're going to switch off from him for a second there. We did have him on for most of the session. We got Logan here. And he just went into the wall. That's going to be his front wing entirely gone for most of it, I gotta say, from the left side. Both end plates are actually already missing. Tommy's out of this session, which means he's not going to be able to make a qualifying time in. So that's going to be it for him for qualifying one. We didn't really discuss it before, but qualifying one usually starts off with a total of 18 minutes in which these guys have to make their best lap time here. And they can just freely choose to do this on either the medium tires or the soft tires. But it's all about getting into qualifying two and just progressing further through the qualifying session if you do want a great start on a track like this. And being the first race of the season, I think most of the drivers are going to want to have a great start. As we're on board with Grappy right now, I think he is on a hot lap going here. He's moving pretty fast and he's really doing a pretty good lap so far, so good. Drivers are going to want to avoid invalidating their lap times as much as possible. So we're going to stay on board with Grappy here as he does go around. And we're going to just apologize from right now about these PSN names. We're probably going to have a little bit of fun with them You know, most of these guys, I think almost all of them, are from the Czech Republic. So the names are going to be a little bit tricky for me being from the US here. So it's still going to be a lot of fun to do this commentary with the league, and just happy to be on board with them. So let's hopefully we'll get most of it, at least maybe 75% of it correct. But I do have some information from the league's owner there in terms of the correct names of all the drivers, and to match with their PSN names. But of course, it's still a bit difficult just to get through all of that. So we're just going to focus mostly on the PSN names for now, which will be a lot easier for you guys to follow watching on the stream right now. And maybe afterwards, by the time we think we get to the second race, I'll be able to match these names with the actual names that they have on the information that was provided with. But for now, we're just going to keep it as Grappy just did a 121.6, put himself up into P2 for the time being at least. And we got Dominic there in, he currently is holding on to provisional pole for this session at least. Let's just switch it on to someone else, as I forgot what I'm even doing. I kept talking there. I'm just going to switch it to that. Alright, so this driver here, where is my information? Let me have a look, because I did have it here. So this is going to be Michael Cuban here. His PSN name is a bit strange, but I don't even have a funny way of calling that one out. I just had to look to see what the actual name was. So this is going to be Michael Cuban. So he's currently running here. Doesn't have a lap time in as yet, but looking to get one in here pretty soon. So we get at least just over 50% of the grid bringing in our lap times so far. So we're just waiting to see everyone else come around with a lap time here. They do want to try and get that within the next 8 minutes or so. You're just under 10 minutes now left in qualifying. Actually, just less than 9.5 minutes. So it's getting to that point where you just need to get some sort of lap time in, just to see where you stand on the grid right now. Even a little bit of a bad lap time might actually help, but then lap times seem to be very competitive so far. Starting with the best lap time so far is a 120.8 from Dominic there, holding out to provisional P1 for now in this session. We got Michael Cuban up into P2 now with a 121.4. His lap time is actually pretty impressive there. And we got Dan Clement here. He is currently on an outlap, as we're going to follow a bit with him. And he is a Mercedes driver. I think his teammate hasn't made a time as yet either. Oh, no, he still is up there. Alright, so let's see what we got going on so far. I'm going to have an attempt of going through most of these names if I can. So Dominic holding on to P1. Michael Cuban holding on to P2. Hey, look at that. I actually remembered what his name meant. Grappy holding on to P3. We are Groot. He's P4. We got Paulie there in P5. We got Bleskan in 6. Prazasek in 7. Tassico in 8. We got BG Cactus in 9. Cap in 10th. We got Nimi in 11th. Tojiji in 12. We got Eskas in 13. I got Fakeation in 14. I got HR 12, 15. Logan is 16. Gargamel is 17. Tommy is out of the session, was currently in 18. Havlis in 19. And Dan Clement currently 20, yet still without a lap time. So for the last 5 drivers, I got to say, so they're still yet to make a lap time here. They're going to want to just get a move on this though, because we are just coming to that dangerous endpoint in the session. But I gotta say, this qualifying one seems to have gotten away from us pretty quickly. Or maybe it's just me talking all the time. I haven't realized how fast the time has gone. But yeah, oh, that's a Ferrari at the side of the track there, having some trouble, I guess. As Dan Clement is on his hot lap here right now. He's going through sector 3. I didn't pay attention if he had any purple sectors on that, which is one of the reasons I do keep the full track map on. We're gonna pay a little more attention in qualifying 2, but being the first race that I'm actually... I felt like I saw a bit of drizzle, honestly. I had to stop for that. I'm not sure what the conditions are for the session right now, guys. If there's any rain detected, but I'm 100% sure I just saw some drizzle. Which is actually going to make things quite interesting for having rain on the first race, opening race of the season here. If any drivers know for having racing here on the live stream, might as well just put it in chat. I'm having a look at the chat at the moment. Just let me know what's going on with the weather. If it's going to rain in qualifying and in the race, or if it's just going to be a little bit drizzle, maybe in qualifying too. Just let me know at least so we can let our viewers know what's happening here. But yeah, guys, has been an interesting qualifying session so far. I gotta say, I'm quite impressed with the lap times. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Infinite Gamer. I'm usually used to streaming most league races, most of the leagues from the UK actually. So not that new to this, but still, well, relatively new. I'll say a few months I've been doing this now, but it's a lot of fun on my end. And you know, I was contacted by the league to do this and doing it on their channel. I'll usually do it on mine, but for in this instance, we're going to be doing it here, and it seems to be a good response from the YouTube control room, what I'm seeing there so far. So that's quite interesting to see as well. So Dan Clement with a 122.1, currently in 10th. I think it's quite enough good of a lap time to actually get him into qualifying 2, but he's going to have to be careful about that because there's still enough time for drivers to just get out there and make a better lap time. I think Prasek might be on another outlap there as well, so another hot lap right now, trying to improve his time. So definitely with the rain coming down now, track temperature is definitely going to be dropping, which is going to affect the performance of the cars on track at the moment. So you're not going to actually be able to make a very fast lap time as you usually would expect to, putting it into the 122s and 123s as we're seeing for most of the drivers. It's going to be near impossible for some of these drivers to even try to get to a 121 at this point with the rain coming down. So it's stuff like this that you really got to just be on the lookout for when you do start esports race and you're in qualifying. You got to just look at the weather, see what it's going to be like. If it's going to be raining at the end of qualifying 1, you definitely want to get a good lap time in before you actually get to that point, or you're just putting yourself in a very dangerous position of not making it over to qualifying 2. And with a 4 out of 20 cars, you do not want to be starting down at the back. It's going to be definitely a bit bunched up getting into turn 1s and 2 through this track on when we started with this race. Oh, and that is not good at all. That's going to be a front wing gone. There we go. So that's Gargamel, and he's lost his front wing. Obviously not going to be able to make a time on this occasion. Has to get back in. So definitely it's starting to get a little bit slippery on track, as we just saw. DRS, I think, has just been disabled there. I didn't have a complete good look at that at the bottom. But yeah, guys, it's interesting to see how the weather does change things on track so rapidly and so quickly. It's been just a few minutes since this rain actually started, and it seems to be coming down pretty heavily right now as we're following here. I think most of our cars are currently in the pits right now. We're just going to press a sec there, see where he's going into the pit. Everybody's going back into the pits. Anyone that currently wants to run right now, I think they're going to have to probably try and do this on intermediate tires, as it seems to be coming down pretty hard. I don't think a dry tire compound is going to make it on track at this point, just speaking from experience, but I'm not 100% sure on this. It's just all on the feel of the drivers right now. So if that is the case, everyone is probably just going to give it a rest for the rest of the session here, which is just about 3 minutes remaining now, and everyone is back into the pits. I'm not sure if any driver is going to take a chance, get her back on dry tires here, or they're going to have to just switch it to intermediate and see how that goes. But then all the drivers have already made laps except for Gargamel there, and it's just horrible to see, because I don't think he's going to be able to make a good enough lap time on the intermediate tires, but he might be able to push himself up just a little bit more if he can get a really good lap in on the inters. And we already see Logan is already on that. Let's see, do we have fitted on here? Yeah, we have fitted here. So best lap times were made on dry tires there. We currently have fitted, so we'll see what drivers have fitted on. And let's get on to, that's Logan getting out on intermediate tires. He's taking the chance. He's going for it on those inters, trying to get a better lap time in. If he can make anything better than a 123 right now, I think he's on for a spot in qualifying 2. But that's going to be a pretty difficult call at this point. He's going to have to just be very careful and be very quick about it, because he doesn't have a lot of time left. And plus, it's still starting to come down. The rain is just starting to come down way more. I don't know if you guys saw those drizzles when I first saw them. But I mean, I'm used to playing a lot of different F1 games. I've played F1 games from F1 2010 come all the way to F1 2020. So it's pretty, I don't know, I guess it's pretty common to spot every drop of drizzle when you're driving around these tracks, even when you're looking from the overhead view. Especially when you're driving, you definitely are able to tell that, you know what, track temperature is starting to drop, because you can just feel how much you're losing your rear end getting off some of these curves, and it's always just telling that, you know, something's not right, or maybe it's Uh, oh, and he invalidated that lap, so that's gonna be oh, he's on an out lap still, so it's fine. I thought he was on the hot lap at the moment. So if you're on an out lap and you do invalidate, that is fine. Of course, you can't do it too close to the finish line, or the hot lap you're about to begin is done for, and he is done for here because he's just lost his well, most of his entire front wing, you gotta say there. So that's gonna be it for Logan there. He's gonna have to take the 126.5 and just stick with that started there in 18. Tommy's going to be starting all the way at the back of the grid because he didn't get to make a lap time. And Gargamel and they're probably going to be starting in 19 because I don't think he's getting out back of the pits to make a lap time. And he obviously doesn't have enough time to get all the way around. So I think that's going to be it with just under a minute left in the qualifying session here. That's going to be over pretty soon either way. And then we're going to have to just go over to qualifying 2. So it looks like our drivers that are going to be out are probably going to be Havlis, HR12, Logan, Gargamel, and Tommy. Those are going to be our 5 drivers that are going to be out of qualifying 2. Everyone else should be able to make it in. I don't think anyone else is actually running here. So that's going to be it for that situation there. Yep, that rain is definitely coming down even harder now. That track is fully wet. There's not even a racing line showing there anymore. And that's it for qualifying, as qualifying is over. Anybody currently running a lap would be able to finish it with that 2 minute 44 seconds counting down, but I don't think anyone is running a lap here. That's except for Logan there with a broken front wing. So obviously nobody is doing anything here. Everyone's just going to retire from the session so we can get it on to qualifying 2. And yeah, we're going to see how qualifying 2 goes. So your basic idea, guys, that's qualifying 1 over 18 minutes to get this done, make it into qualifying 2. And qualifying 2, what's so special about it is just, it's so interesting because drivers are going to tend to be a lot more careful in qualifying 2 because if they do make it over to qualifying 3, whatever tires they did do the fastest lap on in Q2, that's going to be the set of tires they have to start the race on. And that's mandatory, so it's mandatory for the top 10 drivers. So drivers are going to have to just be so much more careful of how many laps you're actually going to pull off on a set of tires and what tires you're actually going to attempt to do this on, because if you have to start the race on them, you definitely don't want to be doing 3 to 4 laps trying to make the fastest lap on a set of tires, and then you're going to have to just pit so much earlier in the race than expected because those tires are just going to give up on you. They're not going to be able to keep up with the cars around you, and it's just hard part of your pit stop strategy that you got to just think about in your race strategy in terms of when you really want to do this pit stop. How many pit stops do you want to do? Do you really want to make a 1 stop? Are you going to make a 2 stop? You really got to think about it. You got to account for things like safety cars, VSCs. So a lot of things actually go into this. So taking provisional pole, at least for this session, was Dominic with a 120.8, a pretty impressive lap time. The only one in the 120s. We got Michael there with a 121.4. He was P2. Grappy went P3, where Groot was P4. Paulie in 5th. We got Bleskan in 6th. Prazasek in 7th. Tassicos in 8th. We got BG in 9th. Dan Clement was still 10th. He held on to that. Vacation in 11. We got Cap in 12. Nimi in 13. Escas in 14. And that was all for who made it over. Oh, it was because one driver didn't make a lap time in and he was out of the session. That's why only 14 drivers are going to be going over here. I forgot that's an exception, that where it does happen that way in that instance. But yeah, still not pretty bad for a qualifying 1 for the opening race for EFRL. And it's going to be all wet for qualifying 2, which is going to make things a little bit more interesting. Let's get a few stats. So we're going to keep that unfitted. Actually, everybody's going to be running on that, but we're just going to keep it on. Actually, no, let's leave that off and just put we don't need that one. We'll keep that one on. I'm just trying to keep the screen as least cluttered as I can because we can just focus at least on the cars. We just need to see the lap times that they're making. We don't really need to see what tires are on. Everyone's going to be running on the intermediate tires and maybe getting to the end of the session. If it does get wet enough, they're going to that's both Mercedes trying to get out at the same time. If it does get wet enough at the end of the session, then they're going to actually try to switch it on to the wet tires. And we're going to have a look at that. The wet tires, they have the blue the tire wall, so it's easy to recognize them if they're full on wets. Intermediates are always green. You know, softs are always red, mediums are always what is it? Like a yellow color. I gotta say, the Pirelli yellow, and you know the hards are white wall tires. So just if you know the difference, you're able to actually tell what tires a car is on. If you're new to it, well, we'll help you guys figure it out. It's fine. So this is actually quite interesting for me because this is going to be the second race for 2021 that I'm actually doing commentary for. So quite interesting. We did do a commentary for a race on Sunday that went by. That was actually a fun race to watch, and that wasn't full qualifying. It was short qualifying. That one was done on my channel. But yeah, this one is actually pretty interesting. I love when you have a full qualifying. It just separates a lot of different things and just shows you even if a driver has a bad go at it in qualifying 1, they just have to make it into qualifying 2, and just, you know, you can make up for it and just make it all the way to qualifying 3. A driver who qualifies maybe 14th in, oh, and that's a Mercedes into 1, I think, there. And that might have been, that was Dan Clement. He went straight into that wall, didn't hesitate at all. I'm just kidding, guys. It's just the wet conditions on track. It's just very difficult to drive at this point. And let's just switch on to Vacation over here and see what he is up to. I'm not sure who's going to be the first driver to make a lap time. I mean, I didn't really pay attention to who came out on track first, but it's obviously going to be one of these drivers here. Let's see which one of them is going to be Tasco's there. He's going to be the first driver to make a lap time in here. Actually, Rear Groot is there. No, Rear Groot is further back. Yeah, Groot is further back, so it's gonna be Tasco's in the Renault there to make the first lap time. So let's see what sort of lap time they're gonna actually be making on the sliding around a little bit. He's gonna make what sort of lap time he's gonna be making on the intermediate tires here. I love doing these commentaries; it's just so much fun. And the one best thing about it, you can never lose because I'm not driving. I just switch to the driver that's winning. But I'm really looking forward to following some of these battles on track here. Should be quite a lot of fun. Just so you guys know, I do quite a few esports races like this. I do commentary for quite a few leagues during the course of the week, so it's like Formula 1 all week for me. I don't just have it on one day. Oh, that's getting really squeaky with the rear end, but it's just very difficult to keep control of the car right now. Yeah, guys, as I was saying, I do a lot of these races, a lot of commentary, so even if I do one track 3 times a week, it's always so different because every league has a different set of drivers that, you know, approaches it quite differently, and then you have different conditions on track as well. I'm not even sure if I'm doing another Australia this week. I might be, I'm not sure. I know I have a Formula 2 league after this one. When I finish here, we're going to have some of 2 cars racing, but that's going to be on my channel over. Ooh. Let's see, we got a 134 from Prasek. We got Tasco's with a 134.4. He's 5/10ths off of BG's time there. Oh, that's quite interesting actually. A 133 from BG Cactus there. Prasek down to P2, 134.4. Tasco's with a 134.5. Dominic with a 135.2. Groot 135.3. And Paulie 136.1. Oh. Vacation, he invalidated that. So did his teammate there, Ezra. So they're out of that. They're gonna have to try again. Where's Cuban on? Let's see what he's up to. I think he's gonna have to give this another go. So we'll cap there. Definitely you're gonna have to give it another go here. Yeah, guys, so as we're saying, it's not gonna be as easy as these guys expect to get a really good lap time in here, so they're gonna have to just keep trying at it, but they do have a very limited amount of time with only 18 minutes available in qualifying 1. Qualifying 2 here is gonna have only 15 minutes, so they gotta just try their best to make it into qualifying 3. Of course, with the conditions as they are now, that rule that we were talking about where they have to start on a tire to do the fast lap on, that's kind of out of the window now with the conditions being so wet here, because I think we might end up having a dry race and everyone just gets a free choice of tires to start the race on. So that's going to be one advantage that they're going to be looking forward to. So we're going to see what pit stop strategy these guys are actually going to be choosing. Let's switch on to someone who's currently on track running. We're on with Bleskan there. Let's see if he's able to make a pretty good time here or not. I think he's running on his hot lap there at the moment. Apologies about that, guys. Just went off for a second there. So let's see where we are. Oh, Tasticos now takes away P1 133.6. PG down to P2 with a 133.9 that he has. And Groot still in P3 now. Paulie P4. Prasek P5. Bleskan is 6. Cuban 7th. We got Dominic currently in 8 on another outlap as well. We got Fake Asian there in 9th. Eska's in 10th. We got Nimi, Cap, Rapi, and Dan Clement yet to make lap times in here. They are all on outlaps except for Nimi there. I think he's on a hot. Let's follow on board with him. As we can see the racing line starting to just show up on the track now, as the guys have been driving around for quite a bit on this session and just making that visible. So it's going to be the fastest way around the track at the moment if you can keep on it. And let's see, Nimi went 135.7, putting himself in P10, which is a very dangerous position to be in at this point in time. In this session, you're just going to want to be so much higher up because it's only the top 10 drivers that usually make it over to qualifying tree here. So we're going to have a look at that and see how that goes for them. Grappy there, and let's see who else is around. So following Dan Clement right now, let's see where Dan is able to put himself. Last session, he was P10 and running to get into qualifying 2. So let's see if he can make it into qualifying 3 now. He can pull off another P10 before the end of the session. Actually keep it there, he'll make it over. But it's, locking his tires up just a little bit as we just saw there. But he's going to have to be very, very, very careful here not to invalidate this lap. He only has, that's about 6 minutes left in the session here. And it's not a lot of time if you really think about it. And it's going to be very easy to, overshoot some of these turns and maybe lose control of the rear end with the conditions as they are on track. As even though it looks like the track is drying up just a little bit in terms of the racing line, it's still very difficult to keep traction going as much as you want here because it's still wet conditions to drive with and drivers have to be so much more careful. Less drivers on track, even though, still just 14, not a full grid of 20 at the moment, but still they do have a little more room to work with, but the conditions are just going to make it that much more difficult for them to do this with. And he goes P6, 134.7, not too bad at all. If you can keep that going, it's going to be pretty good for him. Cap, I think, just went a little bit higher up. I think this is Eska's getting out. I'm not sure if he's getting out there or not. We're going to have a look at that in just a bit. Who else is currently running here? Is Dominic currently running? And goes across the line, goes up to P4. Dominic now with a 134.4. And there's quite a few 134.4 just separated by a few hundredths of a second right now. And that pushes Dan Clement down to P7. Still in quite of a good position to be in at this point in time. But he's going to want to try to improve that. Maybe a little more if he can. He does have time to try and do this again. Let's go on down to who is currently running there. We got Eska's on an outlap right now in the McLaren. Let's see if he's able to get a better time than a 137. If he can do a 134, he put himself somewhere in the top 10 at least. Maybe keeping him in a safe position. We're not sure as yet, but we're going to have a look on how that goes. But I gotta say, guys, so far so good in this session in terms of what the drivers are able to do here. Some pretty interesting lap times. Even in the wet, we're still getting up to 133, so I don't think that's too bad actually here. Okay, sorry about that. Just step away for a second. Just looking at the stream. So Crappy on an outlap right now is the only driver that has made a time in this session. Remember, it's just under 3 minutes left. Under 2.5 minutes left now, actually. And he's going to have to try and go for it. Let's see. He's now on his hot lap going. We're going to follow with Crappy and see if he's able to make a lap time in the very, very last part of the qualifying session here. A lot of things tend to usually happen coming right down to the end of qualifying sessions, I gotta say, with drivers trying to, just make a better time. They usually tend to do it. It tends to happen in actual Formula 1 as well. They just make the best lap times at the very end of a session. So a lot of interesting things can happen. And this tends to happen down to the end of the race as well. A lot of things tend to change. A lot of factors come into play with that. But we're going to see how the race goes for these guys when we do get to that there. Let's get on board with Grappy and see what he's doing right now. I'm not sure if he's having a good lap. Has a lot of traffic in front of him. Hopefully, I don't think anyone's getting in his way, though. Everyone seems to be pulling to the side of the track to, just, politely let him go by and make his lap here. But I think he's trying to be a little bit careful here as well, just to try and make a good lap time if he can. Or at least to make some sort of lap time if he's able to. But I think he will be able to get a lap time in. Let's see how good of a lap time he's about to get in here. And it seems to be pretty interesting. Goes P1, 133.4. Honestly, I didn't expect that. I thought he was going to go maybe in the top 10 at least. But still, that was actually pretty interesting. So, fastest lap so far for him. And as I said, coming down to the end of the session, a lot of these things tend to happen there. So this is usually what happens coming down to the end of these qualifying sessions. A lot of drivers just tend to make a last minute save and just get a good lap time in. Okay, guys, I think that is it for qualifying 2. We're just going to wait for that to count down, or just everyone to just retire from the session so we can just get it ongoing. But I think a few drivers might still be running here. Let's have a look. I think a few drivers are still running. We're going to keep it on Nimi here. Let's see if he's able to make some sort of other lap time in, as he's currently still running on a lap. We have a few drivers still running on laps here right now, and they're trying to, let's see if actually anyone can actually take away P1 at the moment. Doesn't really make much of a difference, as Grappy still will make it over anyway. But some of these guys down at the bottom might be able to make it into qualifying 3 if they're lucky here. Let's see if any of them are able to. We got Bleska, we got Nimi, Cap, and Esker. Well, Esker is out of it already. Nope, I think that's it. I think just oh no, he just went to the pit. So that's gonna be it, guys. That is qualifying 2 over. And let's see, I think it should just be the top 10 making it. If top 10 doesn't make it, then Vacation is out of qualifying 3 here. He's going to be quite lucky if he does make it in. We're going to have a look at that in just a bit here now, as our timer is about to count down, I think. Who is left in the session? Not retiring right now. That should be over in just a bit. Alright guys, there we go, and Vacation barely makes it into qualifying 3. So Grappy takes P1, Dominic takes P2, Tascos takes P3, we got Cuban in P4, Dan in P5, actually made it pretty good qualifying there, BG Cactus in P6, Groot in 7, Prazek in 8, Paulie 9th, Vacation in 10th, out of qualifying 3 is going to be Blescan there. And we got Nimi, Cap, and Eskas. They're going to be out of qualifying 3. Still not a bad starting position for there. 11, 12, 13, and 14. Not too bad, but still just a little bit back of the grid. They're going to have to be careful getting through the first few turns, as this is going to be maybe a little bit dangerous, but we're going to have to look at that very shortly, guys. Coming up right now is qualifying 3, and that's only going to be 12 minutes long. 12 minutes is not a lot of time as it might seem to get qualifying done. Remember, you got to get out on track, you got to get an out lap done, then you got to get your hot lap started, then you got to get back into the pits, and then probably get out back again if you need, because everyone's probably going to be running this session on soft tires here. So let's have a look, and this is going to be dry, so this is going to be quite an epic session to watch here. Let's keep that unfitted. We don't need that telemetry on. That's about it. Actually, no, let's take where is it? Let's take that off. We really don't need that. That's kind of useless. Alright, so let's see how this session is about to go. We got cars getting out on track already here. Let's see who's going to be the first guy to get out. Is Cuban the first guy to get out on track here right now? It does seem like he is. Yep, Haas is out first. I'm not sure who's going to make the first lap time here, but he is out in front. Let's see who's going to take pole position for the start of the race. That's going to be quite interesting. Front of the grid is always the best place to be here, because you just want to make it through turn 1 safely and without a car getting into the back of yours and causing any sort of damage or making even you get a penalty, and you really didn't even do anything. So it's going to be very interesting to see how qualifying 3 works. Imagine we have really not even gotten to the races yet, and it's just been so much excitement going through the session so far. We've had half wet, half dry qualifying 1. We had a full wet qualifying 2. Now we're having a full dry qualifying 3, and I think it's going to be a fully dry race. From expectations, actually, it should be a fully dry race, and that's going to be a lot of fun to see. We just want to see. It's going to be a little bit bad if they actually have a full-on wet race here at Australia for the first session. I gotta be honest, I never had much luck at Australia for a track. I can drive it pretty well, but I don't really enjoy driving it too much. It just, I don't know, I have some bad luck here. Ever since I've been playing F1, it's always Australia. It's never a good track for me. Even in the career mode, I always just retire the race because something always goes wrong. I can start off great. First half of the race is always great, and then just a lot of things just happen on the way through. I'm not even sure how it happens that way. Bahrain, on the other hand, it's actually a pretty good track for me. But let's see how these guys handle this race. I'm quite sure they'll do a lot better than what I would here. So we got some hot laps beginning right now, and we're following Cuban, and let's see what the Haas driver can actually do here. Needs to get a very good lap time in qualifying 1. We are seeing some 121s. Let's see if we're going to get one better than a 120, if we can get up to a 119. Be quite interesting to see how fast these guys are going to go, as the track is only going to get faster as they continue to go on, and we're going to see what the race pace time is going to be like when we do get to that session. He's using up as much curve as he can right now. Of course, he's going to have all-purpose sectors. He is the first guy to make it through these sectors here, and yes, it's all going to just show purple for now until someone crosses the line behind him. And we do have a few cars coming behind. I know we have a Mercedes, and both Renault are coming behind him there right now to make lap times in. So he's going to want to be careful not to invalidate this. As you see, he's on his first hot lap, and it's already just goes to show you how fast this can actually go down. Alright, gets onto the pit straight, goes across the line. Let's see where Cuban goes, and let's see, that's a 122. Not too bad so far. Let's see where the Renaults are going to go here. Oh, and Prasek invalidates. Tascos is going to have to save it for the team at least, and Paulie goes 122.7 in P2 at the moment. That goes 130. Not a good lap from him. He's going to have to try that again. We got Dominic coming. Let's see where he is at the moment. Still running in sector 2 right now, so he's yet to come around. And we're going to keep following him for a bit and see how well lap times are going to go for qualifying 3. It's been quite interesting so far. 122.3, 122.7, and a 130.4. Not a good time. He's definitely, Tascos are going to have to try and improve upon that as fast as he can. He's going to probably do another lap on those tires and maybe then get back into the pits and change onto a different set. Oh, and that is it for Dominic. Invalidates the lap. He's going to have to try this again. Maybe on the same set he might go for it, or might want to get back into the pits, depending on how much fuel he actually put into that car before getting out on track. That is a little bit dependent on it, as you can choose how much to fuel your car, and some guys would just tend to fuel it just for one lap. And it does seem he has done it for more than one lap, because he's going again and not going into the pits. So he's going to try again. Of course, the car is going to be much lighter at this point, but the tires are going to be a little bit older than expected. But he's still going to go for it here. But let's go on to BG Cactus here right now. He has just done a purple sector 1. Or we're going to have Dominic coming behind him. So we're going to keep an eye on both of them as they go. And every other driver is currently on an outlap right now, except for Dan there. He is still in the pits right now. And that is Paulie with a 121.8. Tascos goes 120.8. A whole second faster, so that is quite interesting. Everyone is getting faster and faster as we speak here right now. Following on with BG Cactus, we're going to see what kind of sort of lap time he is able to make. Weir Groot is just starting his lap there right now in sector 1, and he's going to be making a good lap time as well, I assume here. It is qualifying 3. If you didn't actually make it all the way here, definitely you should be impressing us with some very fast lap time. So let's see how fast these guys can go. They're going to be pushing to the absolute limit right now, trying to just get a best starting grid position that they can right now. As you can see, that's not really a long run getting on to turn 1. You're going to have to be careful. And that's BG Cactus in P2 at 121.2. Not too bad actually, about 4/10 off of Tasco's time, so still pretty interesting. Let's go on to who is next. I think it's Dominic coming around next, and oh, he didn't make a lap time. Did he not? Or did I just get that wrong? Who is next to make a lap time here? We got a Mercedes coming around. Oh, there he goes. So Dominic goes 120.7. 1/10 better than Tasco's time, but still takes away P1. Following on with Groot right now. I think Dan Clement is about to begin his hot lap. No, I think he just went to the pits. Nope, sorry. That was his teammate Paulie going into the pits. Clement is still going to go for it. And Groot goes P4, 121.3. Let's see, about 110 slower than BG Cactus, his teammate there. So that's going to be both Alfa Romeo. Is currently 3BP, 3P4. Not too bad at all. Let's see who else is next. Fake Agent going across the line, and let's see where he goes. Goes P5, 121.5 right now. Not too bad. And Dan Clement currently starting his hot lap in Sector 1 and running still. So we're going to have to just wait maybe about a minute more to see what sort of lap time he is about to make, which is about 20 seconds into this lap right about now. Cuban sitting there with a 122.3. That's the worst lap time we've seen so far, and it's still a fast lap time, but he's going to have to try and improve upon that. I don't think I can even make a 122 here. I'll probably do a 122.5 at fastest here if I try. Probably. I'm not even sure what my lap time on Australia is right now. Probably maybe a little bit better than that. I don't know. I've gotten faster, but I really haven't kept track of what my lap times are. Anyway, let's keep an eye on Dan Clement here. He is currently stuck in P10. Doesn't have a lap time in. He's going to have to try and get it in before the end of this session. We got just under 4 minutes left, so not a lot of time for these guys to get it in. But you know how it goes. Qualifying 3, always so exciting. Every driver waits until the very last moment to get a good lap time in. And that's Clement just making a little bit of a mistake, getting onto the grass just a bit. And let's see where he goes. Not the best, but a 121.6 will do it for now. I think Mercedes are going to expect a lot more from Clement and Paulie there. They're going to have to try and improve those 121s. I don't think that's where Mercedes want to see those cars, so they're going to have to do something about it. Crappy on an outlap right now. Let's see what's going on with Prezek down at the back. He is currently still P10 running. I think he's on a hot lap going here right now. Yep, definitely he is, as he's trying to make a time up. Of course, time is running out very fast on these drivers right there. They're going to have to get these lap times in as fast as they can. So hopefully they're able to do that. Grappy on his outlap. Cuban on another outlap trying to make a better time. Dan Clement just finished a lap there, making himself 121.6. I think Groot is on another hot lap, and that was Prazsek with a purple sector. Which sector was that? I think that was purple sector 2. He's down in sector 3 and going. Let's switch on back to the overhead view and see where he puts this car. If he can put it back on pole for a race start, that's going to be quite interesting to see. And it's coming down very close to the end of the session. It's time to get back into the pits and get out again. Let's see, he's about to go across the line. He's on the 120 so far. Oh, and goes P4, 121.2. Not too bad at all. I think that's a pretty good starting grid position. If he's able to actually keep it there, though, that's the thing. It's going to be difficult to say. And getting on to Grappy down at the back. Let's see where someone else running. I think Cuban is. I don't think he did a better lap time. Trying to see if Clement is. Oh no, Clement is not on another hot lap here. Let's go on to Grappy there in the Red Bull. So he's trying to make a better time right now. Actually trying to make any sort of time right now. Just got a minute and 30 something seconds left. So this is his last chance to do this actually here. If he does make a lap time at the end of this lap, maybe one more lap on his tires if he crosses the line before that timer runs out. But that's going to be it. He needs to get some sort of lap time in. Any sort of 121s will just put him into a better position here. He needs to get into 121 somewhere at least for a good starting position. He's in, I guess you can say the worst starting position he's going to get is P10 because he can't just go lower than that. Unless you do something that causes you a 5-place grid penalty, which tends to happen from time to time. So they have to just be careful about that. Like getting into another car's way or just, blocking a car intentionally or causing some sort of incident on track, it can cost you a 5-spot grid penalty for the race start, and that just puts you down, and that's just horrible because you just work so hard getting up into qualifying 3 and then just to lose that, it's really not going to be so interesting. So let's see where Grappy goes, and currently doing pretty well so far. Might be able to make this, and it's a 121.3, goes P7 for now. Dominic holds on to pole position for the start for the moment. It's a 120.7 for him. That's goes there in P2. Oh, BT Cactus takes over P1 now, 120.788. Just about 0.2 of a second better than 2/3 of a second better actually than Dominic there. Not too bad. And then Tascos takes P3 now with a 120.8 there. And we're grouped on another outlap, but I don't think he's gonna be able to make a hot lap there in time, as he's nowhere near the. No, he's not gonna be able to make that. That's just gonna be him getting back into the pits. And let's see if anyone else is currently running. We got Vacation running here. He's currently P8, 121.5. Let's see if he's able to make a faster lap time here or not. And he's about to go across the line. Let's see if he's able to improve. It doesn't look like he might. Nope. 121.3 is the best he can do there. That's going to be it for him. Tascos takes P1 now with a 120.5. Currently hold on to that provisional pole. BG Cactus currently P2. Oh, goes down to P3. Renault's taking P1, P2 so far. So that's a front row lockout at least for Renault there. If they can hold on to this, which they might actually be able to do, I'm not sure. Let's see. This He's back into the pits. Dominic is he's out. That's it. I think that's it, guys. Oh, Dominic just went into P1, 120.1, 4/10 better than Tastico's time. So edges out the Renault guys, pushes them down. So only one Renault on the front row for the start of this race now. That was quite an interesting end to qualifying 3, guys. As I said, usually coming out to the end of the qualifying session is where all the action tends to happen, and the same happens for the race. There's going to be a lot happening in the race here, a lot of competitive drivers, so it's going to be quite interesting, especially for the start, and then getting through the race with pit stops and so on, and we're going to see what race strategy these guys choose. And then getting down to the end of the race, I'm quite sure a lot of different things that we don't expect are going to happen. So we're going to see how well that goes. Alright guys, so that's our qualifying tree result. That's Dominic starting on pole with Tascos alongside him. We got Prasek on the second row with BG Cactus side of him. And we got Cuban in fifth. And we got Groot in sixth. Dan Clement starting seventh. Grappy starting eighth. Vacation starting ninth. And Paulie's going to start in 10th. So that's quite an interesting starting grid that we have there. We're going to see how well that works for them. And yeah, I think it should be quite an interesting race with just half of this grid, half of these guys being in the 120s and the other half being in the 121s. Going to be quite interesting for a race start, and I think it's going to be quite competitive. So we're going to keep quite a close eye on the front of the grid getting through and try to keep an eye on the midfield and maybe some of the guys at the back as well, because we do tend to sometimes have incidents happening at the back of the grid getting through turn where sometimes the front just gets through pretty cleanly. But we're going to have to just try and cover as much of it as we can. Apologies again if we do miss anything. It tends to happen sometimes. We're not always able to catch everything happening on track. But yeah, should be an interesting race. And we're just going to wait for the guys to just everyone to get through that screen. And we're going to get straight into that. Oh, and there we go. It's going to go now. So overall, I got to say, quite an interesting session. Always fun to have qualifying 1, 2, and 3. Even though it actually takes close to an hour to get all of this done, it's still worth it. It's a lot of fun to watch. Alright, we should be getting straight into the race session here right now. It's going to be my manual start, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And guys, this is where we're going to be doing all of the race streams live every single week. It'll be done by myself. Well, it's not my channel, it's a leaked channel. It's going to be done by myself though for the commentary. And so if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. I think League is trying to grow it. So let's help them out by doing that. Just subscribe to the channel and, you know, give the video a like. It does help the YouTube algorithm. Just, you know, recommend the video to everyone who currently watches esports stuff. I'm going to be posting a link to this video on my channel as well, on IG8Live Esports, where I usually do my streams. So have a look at that as well. So we're going to have to just, I got to link the two channels together, but I don't have the time to do it yet. Maybe later on this evening I'll probably do that. So you guys can have a look at both this channel and that one at the same time, you know, something like that. We're going to work it out. We'll set it up. I got to work with Dan on that one. Yeah, so let's see. I think we're about to get started here right now. At least in that way, you guys can at least just have a look at what our other esports races I do. And I'm going to be continuing doing this one here. It's a lot of fun doing it with you guys. I see a lot of response in the YouTube control room right now in terms of you guys with this video. And I see about 8 likes. We have about 110 playbacks so far on this. Got about 15 live viewers right now. So that's always fun to watch and always fun to have on the channel. So we're going to help these guys grow the channel as much as we can, and hopefully the league can get some income coming off of this as it grows. Okay, so we're about to get started here now. Everyone is starting with the formation lap here right now. It's a one lap. Everyone goes around the track and just, you know, just warm their tires up and just get everything up to temperature as much as they can. And we're gonna it actually gives me some time to just set some stuff up here. So we're not gonna use that. We're gonna use that. I'm actually going to take the interval times. I'm not going to put positions or anything on. Usually I do keep this on tires, but we're just going to do that just for the formation lap, just to see what tires everyone is starting on. So interesting enough to see, we got Dominic and Tascos, guys starting in P1, P2. They're going to be starting on the medium tires, and then everyone else currently running on soft, except for down in the back. We got Nimi in 12 starting on mediums, and to GG in 15, he's starting on mediums, as well as Gargamel in there in 19 starting on mediums. Usually you would find drivers down at the back starting on mediums, so it's quite interesting to see the choice being soft tires for these guys down at the back. We're going to see how well that works out for them and how well the strategy works. I don't worry about the disqualification from the formation lap. That crap just tends to happen sometimes. Alright, so let's get that off and take everything off. So we're going to have a look at what's happening here. Guys, just to notify you, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, but this game still has that issue where the leaderboard tends to get mixed up on the spectator mode that I'm currently on the first lap of the race. So if you see that just getting, if it starts to say lap 2 or lap 3 and we're still on lap 1, just ignore it for the time being. Have a look at the cars on track. We're going to just keep our eyes on that and know what's happening there. It's pretty easy for me to follow because I'm just used to it. It's been months dealing with this F1 2020 game and that flaw that they have in the game, and they haven't been able to fix it as yet. I think it was fixed at one point, and then another update came out and it just went all crazy all over again, because I've done so many league streams and it's just frustrating to deal with. So let's avoid even looking at the leaderboard if that does tend to happen. I can't take the entire leaderboard off. I don't want to do that, but we're going to just leave for that for a time. It gets fixed pretty quickly before we get to the end of lap 1 at least. So let's just keep an eye out for that. We got the cars now reforming back to the grid, and we're going to be just about ready to get started here. Anyway, as we're getting started, the first race for the season for the guys, so good luck to all the drivers. Everybody just try and keep it clean and have a good race out there, and let's see what's going to happen here. It does seem to be getting unnecessarily cloudy right now. Hopefully it's not going to rain, or maybe hopefully it will. So 29 laps, guys. We're about to get started here, and let's see how well this is going to go. Please do not give me a problem right now in terms of glitching out. Alright guys, they are off, and one of the Alfa Romeos didn't get a pretty good start there. Let's see what's happening here. Already leaderboard is gone nuts. Let's just ignore that, as Dominic is getting out pretty well out in front. Let's follow down at the back to see. Oh, we got some action happening down at the back here. Cars spinning around. Everyone else getting through them. That might end up being a VSC. I'm not sure as yet if anyone has any damage off of that, but everyone else is gone. Nope. We're just having yellow flags. Everyone is getting back on track and going in. Quite a few overtakes happening. A lot of position changes. Ferrari's getting up a few positions there as well. We're going to have a look at how many positions cars have gained and lost so far in this session as we go through. But for the time being, I know Pralsek was involved down at the back. He was off track. Has some wing damage there. Oh, and there is Nimi there getting on track back. I think he might have some potential damage here as well. Oh, definitely he does have, and getting off track right now. Let's get back out in front and see what's happening. Our leaderboard is now fixed again. Dominic continues to lead with Taz goes there in. And we got BG Cactus currently running in P3. Follow on with all these guys as they're going pretty close. The gaps are right now. I know one of these Alfa Romeos didn't get a pretty good start from what I saw with the race start there, but they're still holding on to positions here. P3, P4 for the two of them. I think Tasticos just went up there a bit. And then we have so Groot in P4, and we have a safety car. Logan is out of the race. Not sure what's happened down at the back. Let's see if we can have a look. Oh no, that's already passed. We're not going to have a look at that. Getting out back out front. So we're currently in the start of lap 2 right now, and on this safety car. This is going to be on for about another 2 to 2.5 laps before we can get back to racing again. It might trigger a few pit stops. I'm not sure. Definitely for cars who have damage, they're going to take advantage of this to do a pit stop right now and then catch up back to the grid. So as I said, guys, we are going to be missing some of the action that do happen. We barely did caught that bit where there were about 2 cars off track. But anyway, they're into the pits right now. Oh, and HR12 is out of the session. What's happened to his car? Trying to get out to the back, and this sucks right now. Nope, we're not going to be able to get there. Cars are in the pits. Alright, so let's just keep it on that for the moment. So unfortunately, we do have Eskers with already a penalty in the race. We're only on lap 2. We have our first safety car. Honestly, I expected this to happen on lap 1. Well, it sort of did happen on lap 1, you gotta say, because the leaders were heading into lap 2 when this actually happened. But still, it does tend to happen. Can't avoid it. We already have 2 drivers out. We got 18 drivers remaining, so still quite an interesting race to look forward to. Don't even worry about it. So Dominic continues to lead. We have Task goes in second. BG Cactus running P3. Groot in fourth right now. Fake Asian in fifth. Oh, let's have a look at safety car. It provides a good option to have a look at position changes. So Dominic and Task goes right where they started. We got BG Cactus gain 1 position, Groot gain 2, Fake Asian gain 4, Dan Clementi gained 1, we got Blessed in there gain 4, Grappy started right there in 8, Paulie is gained 1 position, Hapless gained 6, so he's had a pretty good start, and Cap there gained 2, Tommy there gained 8 positions, so he was way down, and he started and got all the way up there to P12 in that chaos at the start of the race. And then we got Esquez there, gained 1 position, has a penalty, of course. We're going to have a look at that penalty in just a bit. Gargamel in there, he's gained 5 positions. Tojichi, he started right there in 15. And our bottom drivers are the one that lost the most here, because Cuban has lost 11 positions, with Prazasek they're losing 14. It might have been just the 2 of them involved in that bit of collision at the start of the race. We're not 100% sure on that. That probably is going to be an incident report if the league is having that stuff at the end of the session. I know most of the leagues have incident reports that drivers do provide down at the end. And then we have Nimi down there in 18. He's lost 6 positions. HR12 out of the race, and Logan is out of the race. They start down at the back. I'm not sure what caused their incidents to put them out of this race. It might have been something between the 2 of them, and maybe HR12 just retired from the race. So we're not 100% sure as yet. But either way, we do have 18 drivers continuing on in this race. And let's see what the penalties are like right now. It's a 5-second penalty for Esquez there, and he's going to be able to serve that when he does do a pit stop. So that's going to be gone for him, but it is going to actually cost him some time in the race when he does go into for his pit stop. Pit stops here do tend, when you make a stop, it lasts about 2-point-something seconds, and with adding a 5-second to that pit stop, it's really going to cost him a lot of positions. As you know, with F1, every thousandth of a second actually does count, so you got to just be so careful about avoiding these penalties. Of course, I've done so many races to know drivers are going to get penalties. No matter how much you try to avoid it, they're going to get some penalties. It's going to affect their race position coming down to the end, and it just makes them push so much harder and just makes the racing so much more interesting for us. And we're going to have the safety car in on this lap according to race control there, and get back to racing at the end of lap 3 going into lap 4, and that's going to be really interesting. So let's get that stat off screen. And this always happens. That was a 5-second penalty given for one car hitting another car under the safety car. So that tends to happen a lot actually during the safety car session. Cars just tend to run straight into the cars in front of them, but it's not a good thing because they tend to lose part of their front wing when they're doing it. It does take some damage on them, and cause them a lot of time here, and also gives you a penalty. So that's where between Groot and Fakeation here. I'm not sure even how that happened, how both of them have a penalty for that, but maybe their game just faulted both of them, but that'll be resorted on later on. So we're about to get back racing here again. Let's switch on over to overhead view. We got Dominic getting getting away pretty well right now. Tascos and BG Cactus just behind him, half a second behind each other coming. Top 3 guys are way out in front as Dan Clement running in P4 now, getting passed by Bleskan there. He's going to have to go down to P5. So Bleskan down to P4, up to P4. Grappy in P6 right now, sorry. And running, he is trying to get up. BG Cactus getting all the way up to P3. So let's see if he's able. He was getting very close to Tasco, so I was wondering if he was able to go and get by. Doesn't look like he is, as we're going down to Paulie right now, chasing down Grappy in P6. Let's see if he's able to get by here or not. Not at the moment. Everyone just have a very, very close gap right now, so it's really hard to just switch between all these guys to see who is possibly going to make an overtake done. I can already see BG Cactus getting very close. So Task goes out in front, 0.2 of a second, so that's very close, and he was still not going to be able to get a move done. It's very difficult to even get an overtake done at that point, even though the racing is so close, which is always what we love to see. But it's so much just to follow. We're going to try and keep an eye on as much of it as we can here as we're following everyone go through. That's Esquez with another penalty. Havlis we're following right now. He's very close behind Paulie, chasing him down. Going on board, we can see how close he is as he goes off track. Gets onto the grass and loses at least 2/10 of his time there. We're following Paulie right now. And let's get on out in front to the top 3 where the action mostly is. And we got BG Cactus trying to go alongside Tassicos right now. Not able to go as yet. Has to hold it behind in P3. And he's going to be fighting it as much as he can. Just waiting for DRS to be enabled back, which I don't think it is at the moment. I'm not even sure if it is back as yet. But Tassicos is under a lot of pressure right now. Dominic right out in front, though, just under a second in front of him. And he's going to have to be a little bit worried about Tassicos and BG coming just behind them. Oh, almost losing the rear end there, Cactus. And he's driving so well right now. So it's going to be one thing he has to be very careful about in terms of this race, just not to lose it. And we got to go down to Gargamel and down at the back here. see what's happening with him because he's very close. He was, oh, and that's a McLaren off track, losing positions all the way down to P30. That was Escas there, and he's down, lost the position. We got the Haas drivers fighting it out. That's Cuban and Gargamel right now. They're fighting for positions, racing each other out. In the first race of the season, as it seems, they were switching about a bit. I'm not sure if Team Artists are a player with this one, but it's every driver for himself here. As it does seem that Cuban is trying to get around, and he's trying to say, you know what, I'm the faster driver, let me go by. And I don't think Gargamel is having it. He's not going to let him go by as yet. He's going to just have to say, just try and get past me if you can. But both of them now have, I think, no, that's just one of them with a penalty. It's Cuban with a penalty there, and Escas with a penalty coming behind him. So Gargamel and Cuban still fighting it out, very close to each other. Not sure if this is going to take both Haas drivers out of their... Oh, and that was almost Cuban into the pit wall. He's going to have to be very careful about this. He's gained some time on Escas just behind him, but has to be so careful. Almost lost the rear end and threw that Haas car straight into the pit wall, which was something I don't think the team was going to be too happy about. Now let's get off that for a second. Let's see what else is happening down in the back here as we have Escas and Nimi very close to each other. Nimi getting very close to Escas right now, trying to get by. Well, I think he does know that Escas has that penalty, and he might be trying to take advantage of that. Trying to put him under some more pressure here and see if he can get by. We're going to be switching on to out in front in just a bit to follow to see what action is happening. We got Havlis very close to Polly there still. That is still going on. As currently we're still following with Nimi and Escas there in the McLaren. McLaren under a lot of pressure from Williams right now. And that is Nimi up into P13. Escas down to P14 now. Let's see if he's able to get it back. No, he's up falling back already. So definitely he's not going to be able to get this back. Qualification down in the back. He's under a second behind Groot there. Groot not doing too well. He's going to have to try and improve his time. Getting back out to our leader out in front. That's Dominic still leading the Australian Grand Prix right now. With Tasco's running in second, just under a second behind him. And we already have BG Cactus under a second as well. About half a second actually behind Tasco's coming. Top three guys. These guys are still pretty close together. So it's going to be a great fight for the race lead here right now between the three of them as we're following for just a bit. Oh, and Tasco's is out. That car went straight into the wall. We did miss a bit of that. So he is out of the race. That's going to put, that's a full-on safety car. That's going to put Dan Clement up into P3 and on a podium position here if he can finish the race here. Of course, they're going to have to follow protocol for reducing their speed just to get under the safety car here right now. So that's our second safety car for the race. I'm not sure how that happened with Dan Clement there. He might have lost the rear end getting around that turn. I'm not sure. I think our camera angle was focused on the next car, so we were not able to catch that coming around the turn. So we did miss a bit of that, but we did see that he was out. The entire thing left front was just broken right off. Unfortunate for him, but fortunate for Dan Clement. That puts him up in the P3, and everyone else behind moves up one position. That's three drivers out of this race. Dominic still continues to lead. BG Cactus in P2 and Dan Clement in P3, 3.8 seconds behind, and he's going into the pits. They're taking advantage of the safety car and doing their pit stops right now. It's probably going to be a one-stop for this race for most of these cars who are coming into the pits right now. Let's see, where is the other Mercedes? Are they going to double stack it? Both Mercedes are coming into the pits. They're doing both of them at the same time. It might have cost Dan's teammate maybe a bit of time here. I'm not sure. Oh, and that's William out in front of Dan Clement there. So that's Blescon coming out in front of the Mercedes. They're going to be switching around a few positions a bit here now. Of course, this is going to be the one only pit stop. As you can see, these guys just went onto the hard tires. They're going straight on to the end of the race on this. It's 29 laps. We're already over with 8 laps. And remember, we're following the safety car. So you just think about it. They're going to be under the safety car for at least another 2 laps and not running these tires at full potential. So they're not going to be actually wasting the tires. It's going to be saved a bit. And these tires definitely are able to make it to the end. I feel like even if you went on to medium tires, you could make it to the end of the race. Most of our experience from what we've seen, well, from what I've seen from previous league races have done, I think it's possible. With a 29 lap race, it's quite easy to actually do a one-stop going from soft to medium, but you got to just be so much careful about it in terms of how hard you're going to push if you do go onto the mediums. And these guys are going to just try and keep up with each other as much as possible, following under the safety car. Remember, Dominic has not pitted as yet, and a few guys do have penalties to deal with here. If you have a 5-second penalty, you're going to be able to serve it in the pits, but if it's keep adding 3 seconds and 3 seconds, those are not servable. They're just going to be added to your race time down at the end. So BG Cactus, I don't think he pitted as well. Let's have a look at pit stops at how many cars actually pitted here. So, position changes. We got Tommy gaining 17 positions and Gargamel gaining 15 positions all the way up. This is going to be a determination for driver of the day now, of course, but they still have to make a pit stop, which, yep, they have to make a pit stop here. Dominic, BG Cactus, Tommy, and Gargamel have to make pit stops. Who else is going to make a pit stop? Escas has to make a stop there as well. I think they're the only cars that are yet to make any pit stops in this race. So it doesn't look like they're planning to do it under the safety car. And with Dominic leading the race, I don't think he wanted to take the chance of doing a pit stop, which I'm not sure how good of a call it was, though. Honestly, I think Dominic there was a chance he should have taken a pit stop when that safety car started, and he would have still been in front of Dan Clement, and BG Cactus would have probably led the race for the time being, but he still would have had to take a pit stop. This is where it gets interesting, guys. The safety car is changing the aspect of the race in a lot of ways here right now, because it's just a split-second decision. Are you going to take a pit stop if a safety car happens? You got to just be ready to just make a decision right away. And if you decide not to go into the pits and you get past, you're going to have to just live with it, because you're behind a safety car. Everyone is coming back behind you. You don't have a chance to go do it right now, because if Dominic pits right now, he's going all the way to the back of the grid, which is not good for him. Leading this race since the start, he's going to want to keep that lead. I don't think he wants to let it go, but he's going to have to lose it a bit when he does take a pit stop. Of course, this is really going to be tough on him, because he started on the medium tires, but it's going to be able to push him further down. Oh, I forgot that. Dominic did start on the medium tires, did he not? Let's see what tires he's on right now. I think he did, because if that is the case, yep, he did. Gargamel as well started on the mediums. Now, these two guys, they have a very good option here. They're running under the safety car. They can actually push these tires a little bit further into the race and maybe switch onto the soft tires to go to the end, and actually that might be able to help them save it and maybe get back. Dominic might be able to get back the lead of the race, because he's going to be on a faster tire. He's going to be on fresher tires, but we're going to see how that strategy works out for him as we do get to. Let's get back out to the front, and we're going to follow as we're about to get back racing here at the end of this lap. We're getting into sector 3 right now. Safety car is already off into the distance. He's getting back into the pit, so we can safely get back to racing. It's been quite an interesting start to this race so far. Only on lap 9. We're about to go into lap 10, and we got about 20 laps left to go in this race. So much action happening, guys. Let's see what else is going to happen as we get straight back into it. Just about 2 chicanes more to go, and we're back racing again. And always, as always is, Dominic is the driver leading the race. He's definitely going to be the one to get a head start and get a lead out in front if he can. Let's see what's happening. So there we go. That's BG Cactus chasing him down. Not very close, as we can see. He's already getting a lead out. And let's see what's happening down in the back as we have everyone coming by. Gargamel and chasing down Tommy right now. It's going to be quite an interesting session with some of these guys still on the old tires right now that has started a race in, as we following with Gargamel and chasing down Tommy right now here. And let's see who else is very close together. Gaps are not going to be 100% close as they were on the previous instance here, but still pretty close together, with most of these drivers being under a second behind each other. It's always fun to watch them come around this chicane here. So Dan Clement now running in P8, has Nimi in front of him. Let's see how they're able to work their way back up the field, as they're already taking their one pit stop that they needed to take. Getting down to Grappy down in the back here. He's chasing down Clement very hard here right now. Just about half a second behind here. Getting on board with Grappy and to see how the Red Bull driver is managing here. So Mercedes driver might be under a bit of pressure right now. Dan is going to have to be very careful not to make any mistakes out in front and provide an opportunity for Grappy to get by. Let's get out in front, and we're going to switch it all the way a bit coming back. So we got Dominic leading this race. We got BG Cactus under a second coming behind him. But that's just under a second. He's not close enough to get him moved on as yet. Tommy coming there in P3 with Gargamel just behind him. So it's a battle going on for P1, a battle going on for P3, and then we got a battle going on for P5 between Cuban and Blescon there. So quite a number of battles happening on track. Let's see what else is happening. So Nimi and Dan Clement there are about over a second away from each other. And I think Dan Clement is about to come under a bit of pressure right now from the Red Bull driver. Grappy is getting under a second behind him. That time is coming and going just a little bit as Dan Clement is decreasing his gap to the car in front of him. So let's have a look. And he just did a purple sector 1. So he's driving pretty well. Trying to catch Nimi out in front to try and get ahead. He is on fresher tires, of course, with Nimi, I think, is on... No, I think Nimi is probably doing a 2-stop here because he went on to soft tires. Of course, if Dan is able to catch him, then something definitely is up, or maybe that's the tires he started on. He's probably one of the drivers, so I have to make another pit stop here. But now I don't want to switch to that right now. But let's keep following with Dan Clement right now to see if he's able to get by. We got to follow with BG Cactus out in front as well. Chasing down Dominic. Gap is about half a second right now between the two of them as we're following with Mercedes driver right now. Let's see. Dan Clement is getting extremely close to Nimi. Might be able to get a gap to go on here and get an overtake done if he really approaches this correctly. DRS is back online and we're good to go with that again. And that's a VSC right now. Something's happened down at the back. Kralsek is out of the race. I'm not sure what happened to Prasek down the back, but he is out of the race. He might have retired in the pits. I'm not even sure what happened there, but we're not even sure. Oh, someone's got a drive-through. That's Escas there. Has a drive-through penalty. I know there's a car in the pits, so I'm wondering if that was... Nope, that's the driver in the pit. At least it does look like. We're not 100% sure that's fake agent in the pits there, I think. Anyway, that VSC is over, guys. We're back racing again. Following on with Tommy here and Gargamel and just behind him. This action is getting pretty close out front, so we're keeping an eye on what's happening with the two of them. As BG Cactus is getting very close out front to Dominic there as well. Oh, we got Dan Clement getting very close to Nimi. Let's see what's happening. I think the Mercedes is about to get by. Has Grappy just behind him as well, ready to pounce and get another position up. So Nimi has to be very careful. He might be losing 2 positions instead of 1 here if he's not very careful, because these guys are coming up pretty fast behind him. Of course, the Red Bull is getting very close to that Mercedes. So it's like a three-way battle right now for P7. We got Havlis coming just behind them as well. And down the straight they go. We're starting to get close to that halfway point in the race. And what's happening here? Someone is falling down. Gargamel is losing positions. Oh, and he spun around. He is having some serious problems. They're having a very bad day. Let's get back out in front, see what's happening. BG Cactus still chasing down Dominic for the lead of the race. That's not happening because Dominic is still continuing to lead, trying to keep the gap over a second, but he's not able to right now. So that battle might be continuing all the way to the end of the race until one of these guys decides to take a pit stop here. Because as we talked about it before, both of them do have to take that pit stop. Tommy's still running there in P3. His teammate chasing down. Oh, and what happened here? Dan Clement got past Nimi. He's up into P6. Nimi down to P7, and Grappy is still trying to get by here. He's almost put to the side. Not a good enough gap to go on. Of course, we have some penalties handed out there as well. Grappy, Havlis, and Paulie all have penalties. Oh, down at the back, Fake Asian, Esker, and Cuban up in front in P4 have penalties there as well. As we have Nimi going into the pits, that puts Grappy up into P7 now, behind Dan Clement again. We are still waiting for Dominic and BG Cactus there to take their pit stops. Oh, that's Mercedes going a bit wide. Red Bull might be trying to gain a few tenths off of that for him getting onto the grass there. Getting back out front. Let's see what's happening. So a bit of a gap starting to build out front. Dominic still leading, but it's now 3 seconds that BG Cactus is behind. Then we got Tommy another 1.7 seconds behind. Cuban less than a second behind Tommy right now in P4. So he's still trying to keep up with Tommy. Still trying to fight for a podium position here. He's going to try and keep doing that. And then we got Bleskan there 1.8 seconds behind. Dan Clement currently running P6 at the moment. Has Grappy behind him for company. Grappy trying to get his gap under a second to chase Mercedes driver down. Dan Clement is going to have to try and hold this on for at least a while here if he can. Havlis coming behind Grappy though, under about just about half a second behind. So he's still trying to chase him down. We got Dan's teammate Paulie there in P9. He's coming behind Havlis, about 2 seconds behind. So he's going to be in on that battle there pretty soon as well. Let's go on down to the back here. We got Groot in P10 right now. And he's able to see Paulie in front of him there in P9. Now we have something happen out front. I think we got Tommy and BG Cactus in the pits right now. Yes, we do. Dominic still leads though. He didn't pit us yet. And let's see what's happening here. So we got Tojiji in 11. We got Cap in 12. Gargamel currently 13. So we got quite a few positions changing. BG Cactus and Tommy going all the way down to 11 and 12. 12 and 13 now. With those pit stops, which are probably costing them a bit of time at the moment. Let's see when Dominic is going to choose to pit, as he now has Cuban chasing him now. 5.4 seconds ahead he is. Going back down to Havlis here. He's chasing down Grampy right now. Let's see. He's on about half a second behind still here. Let's see if Alvatori can get ahead of a Red Bull. Havlis' teammate is Dominic out in front, leading the race right now as well. So Havlis is going to try to get as much points in this race as he can right now. Alright guys, we're still following on with Havlis right now to see if he's able to get that gap down. Still keeping it constant as much as possible. Dominic's still continuing to lead, even with those old tires, keeping Cuban about over 5 seconds behind him. Let's switch this on around a bit. That gap is still existing as much as it can. Gaps are starting to build just a little bit now. Of course, we're still waiting to see when Dominic chooses to pit, and we're just past the halfway point of the race right now on lap 16 of 29. I gotta say, not doing bad so far. It's been quite an interesting start to the Australian Grand Prix for the first year of the season. It's been quite an interesting. Oh man, that's a lot of penalties handed out. Almost every driver, except for, let's see, we got Nimi, I got Tommy, Tojiji, and Groot are the only drivers. Oh, and Dominic, leader, only driver without any penalties right now. But as I said, guys, the penalties are quite easy to rack up here. And it's actually so interesting that they added the feature just at the ending of last year, so that we are actually able to see how much penalties these guys have. Which I probably can just put that to be displayed, because it's already there anyway. So that's the amount of penalties that these guys have currently. And Cuban there 5 seconds. He probably, I don't know what he's going to do with that 5-second penalty, but most of the guys have 3 seconds. Not too bad, but it means that you have to keep the car behind you 3 seconds behind. That is if you want to keep your position when you do go across the finish line here. And if you do have a car in front of you with a 3-second penalty, all you need to do is just keep it within 3 seconds of him, and you have his position at the end of the race. It's as simple as that. So it does prove to be an advantage and a disadvantage at the same time. Of course, if you have a 3-second penalty and the car in front of you has a 3-second penalty, it just kind of evens itself out and makes absolutely no sense. You're just going to finish right where you are. You just got to worry about the car behind of you. Let's follow on with, let's see what Tommy's up to down in 10th here right now. Still chasing down Gargamel. We haven't really followed too much with Dominic, as he's just out in front, leading the race by himself. And he's now 6.9 seconds. He's gained over a second, almost 2 seconds of time between himself and Cuban. They're running in second. which is absolutely incredible right now. He's dominating the race. Oh, and he's in the pits now. Dominic is finding. Let's see what tires he's about to go on to. I'm really interested to see what tires he's going to choose to go on to right now. And he's going on to the soft tires. That was my call. I was 100% sure he was going to do that. So started the race on mediums. Waited until this point in the race, coming at least to 60-65% way into the race, and then switching onto the soft tires, and he's going to go to the end of the race. He's going to be fighting his way through the pack right now and trying to get it back into P1 if he's able to make it there or not. Dan Clement is now up into P3 with Blaskin up into P2. Cuban continues to lead this race now. And let's see who else is anyone still yet to pit here. Oh, Gargamel was the only other driver to pit, and Cap there. They're in the pits right now, and that's going to be it. Everyone's taking their one mandatory pit stop, and that's over with. So let's see how things are running. So Cuban, they're running in P1 right now. All of these guys have penalties, of course. That's going to come into play. So Dominic running 7th. We got Bleskant in 2nd. Dan Clement running P3. Everyone's going to be chasing each other down. And let's see how well they're going to be finishing here. Havlis, we're following Havlis right now because he's very close behind Grappy. Just about getting to a point where he can get a gap to go on to get by and put himself up into P4 and maybe fight for a position to get onto the podium here if he can. His teammate is currently down in P7 trying to get her back to lead the race. Grappy's going to come under a bit of pressure. Oh, getting onto the grass a little bit there. Might be getting a little quickly, I'm not sure. Probably starting to feel the pressure coming up off Havlis right now. He's going to have to keep pushing as much as he can. I think they're both running on the same tires. Yes, they are. Not sure if there's much of a difference in terms of tire life with them right now. But still, not too bad. Grappy's going to have to try. Oh, and losing a few tenths here. Might have to try and gain that back as Havlis is getting closer to him. So he's going to be under a bit of pressure. Just about 10 laps remaining to go here. So he has to be very careful on how he gets around each turn at this point in time. Actually, you have to just keep your head on for 100% of this race. Just to make sure you don't make any sort of mistake. We got Dominic right now getting very close to Paulie. Let's see if he's able to get by. Oh, and he's about to go side by side. Has to hold back for now. Doesn't want to force an overtake right now, especially to cost him the race. He was leading for most of the race, and he seems to have the pace to get by, especially on those faster tires. And there he goes. And Paulie doesn't fight him too much on it. Not worth it, because he knows he's on fresh tires. He's just going to get by anyway. White fight it and lose the position, or maybe lose the front wing. When you can just let him go by. And he knows that he's not really racing him, so really no point to fight to keep Dominic behind. I think Mercedes are in a pretty good place though. We got Dan in P3, Paulie in P7. Dominic is now behind his teammate Havlis there. Havlis is just under a second behind Grappy still. So this is still going on right now. Grappy's still under pressure from Havlis right now. Let's switch it on down to the back and see what's happening down here. We got BG Cactus and Tommy very close to each other right now. Tommy's having to cart under a lot of pressure from BG. Oh, and does go a little bit wide. Leaves the room open. And we got BG was about to force his way through. Holding it on for now in P9. And let's see if he's able to get by here. He's right up to the rear of Tommy's car, so he might be able to get by pretty soon. And Paulie's gotten past Grappy there. Grappy down to P7, Paulie up to P6 now. Oh, Grappy down to P8. What's happening to Grappy out in front? Oh, and we got these guys going side by side. That's Tommy and BG. Oh, and that is a Red Bull out. So I don't think he took any damage. I'm not sure if that Red Bull took any damage. I knew BG spun around there as well. I think BG lost an end plate. And that Red Bull is losing a lot of positions there. He's back on track, still in the points here, running in P10 right now. We're losing the rear end. Those tires are gonna be in some serious red on the graph when he does look at it, and he has to be very careful getting back on track right now. That's gonna be him losing probably a bit of front wing. Very unfortunate for Grappy here right now. But he was fighting it pretty hard, running a pretty good race. I gotta say, Grappy was running an excellent race so far. But unfortunate to see that happening there. We got BG into the pits there as well. He took a lot of damage off of that. Let's follow on out front. And we got Dominic all the way up into P4 right now. So he's really fighting his way through the field. Havlis is next for him to get onto the podium here. And he gets by pretty easily as well. So that is Dominic up into P3. Well, that was his teammate Havlis, so no wonder he let him go by. Like, he knows he's faster. He's on the faster tires, so maybe they're communicating over the radio. I'm not even sure. So we got Cuban still leading this race, and we got Blescon there in second. Dominic is trying to get up to them right now, and he has just about 8 to 8.5 laps left to go. Actually, let's call it 8 laps left to go here. Yeah, to fight them for the position, and it's quite doable because he's 1.5. I'm not sure how far is Dominic behind Blescamp right now. I'm not sure if he's able to see his car. Oh, he's about 5.6 seconds behind, and he's running on soft tires. He's pushing like crazy right now, so I'm quite sure he's going to be catching up to them pretty shortly. Very unfortunate for BG and Grappy there, getting into that bit of an incident and just losing a lot of time, a lot of positions, falling that way back down. But it's the first race of the season. They're gonna actually have to just try and keep it in the points if they can. They're gonna have to just try and do that. Not sure who was at fault for that incident, really can't say. Alright, so right now we got both AlphaTauris running together. We got both Mercedes running together. Oh, and we have a safety car. We have Esker is out of this race. What's happened down in the back? And that's his McLaren down on the side of the track there. He's straight into the wall. And that, I know exactly what happened there. Yep. That is at that point in the track where you get off that curb, and if you just touch too much of the curb at the end, you just lose the rear end, and it just throws the car straight into the wall. Happens a lot, actually. It's happened so much to me multiple times. You got to just be so careful. So this safety car is going to change things up a bit right now. Everyone is about to get really bunched up. We might see a few more pit stops happening here. What's going to be so interesting about it is that Cuban's getting into the pit. That's going to put Dominic up at the second there now. Havlis is probably going to go up to... Oh, we have quite a few pit stops happening. Even Dan Clement, Havlis, and Dominic getting back into the pits right now. I'm quite surprised Dominic is getting into the pits. I'm not sure how good of a call that is. The only way I would probably be pitting if I was him is if I had damage, because I'm currently running in second. And there's very limited amount of laps left to go. Blescon here, running P1 right now. He's probably the happiest guy here. And he's going to be hoping he's able to finish this race in P1. Of course, he's running on the hard tires there, I think. So that's going to be a little bit difficult, because by the time they end up the safety car, everyone's going to catch up to him. Racing left, 3 or 4 laps of racing left, not a lot, and he's gonna be under a lot of pressure from the cars behind, because just about everyone's gonna have faster tires. So let's see how well that is going to go. But I think it's all a play on strategy for everyone to determine whether you're really going to take a pit stop on this safety car or not, because it's coming now so close to the end of the race. I'm struggling to understand why Dominic took a pit stop here, because he was running P2. But anyway, he's still running in P3 right now, so it's still not a bad position for him. He's going to be right behind the car in front of him, and I'm quite sure he's going to be quite easy for him to get past. So I don't think he's too worried about it. I think he was just thinking about maybe the fact of there having every car behind him having maybe fresher tires. He's probably thinking those guys are going to pit. Maybe I should take a pit stop too, just in case. And oh, that's cap with a 3-second penalty there. We're going to see how these penalties... Oh, and Blescan took a penalty, so that's going to be quite a bit for him to deal with there. Probably a 3-second penalty, but still, that's going to cost him. Everyone's going to be very close together, going all the way to the end of the race. It's going to be quite interesting to see what this race finish is going to be like. Okay, so let's see what's been happening so far. So far, that's where our positions standing are at. We got Blescon currently leading the race. Tommy in second. Dominic P3. We got Cuban in P4. Dan Clement currently P5. Havlis 6. We got Fake Agent in 7. Paulie in 8. Groot in 9th. We got Nimi currently in 10. Gargamel in 11th. Grappy 12. BG Cactus in 13. Cap in 14. And Tojiji in 15th. We got Eskas out of the race. Pradzek out. Tactical's out, HR12 is out, and Logan is out of the race. So we should be getting to the race restart pretty soon with that safety car going in. Maybe the end of this lap or the end of the next one, I'm not sure. But there's not going to be a lot of laps of racing left here. It's going to be quite interesting to see how the penalties play out in terms of finishing positions with this. Alright, so there we have it, guys. Safety car is going to be in on this lap, and we should be getting back to racing right now. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So we got lap 25, 26, 27, 20, and 29. That's 5 laps of racing left to watch. And then that's going to be it for the Australian Grand Prix. That's for round 1. And then it's going to be until next week again for this league. Let's see how this finish is going to go. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch here. Alright, so here we go. Restart happening right now as Blescon is about to get over the line, already gunning it for getting a lead, and he's 1.1 seconds out ahead. Let's see what's happening down in the back as Dominic is trying to get through right now and get to Tommy out in front of him. He has cars in front, that's behind him there as well though. I think some cars are getting by. A few position changes are happening. I'm trying not to switch too fast through as Dominic is pretty close out front here and has Cuban just behind him. So quite a bit happening at the front at the moment. I see some position changes happening down there at the back as well. Just trying to follow everything that's happening out in front to see who's changing and who's not. Cap has retired from the session. I'm not sure if he's done that on track. Something's happened down in the back. I can't tell exactly what's happening there. Something involving Groot maybe. Let's see if we can have a look. Nope, we're not going to be able to see what's happened there. And Blescant is having a pleasant race out front. He's already having a lead of 1.7 seconds. Tommy is just behind him, but still 1.7 seconds behind. He's gained a lot of time so far. Dominic's still running under a second behind Tommy right now. He's trying to chase him down. It's a train of cars coming behind Dominic right now with Cuban, Havlis, Dan Clement, and Paulie there. All pretty close together, so this is going to be quite interesting to see how this one plays out. We're going to keep following with the front group as we are here. That's just because they're so close together. Everybody under a second right now and still chasing each other down. I think it's going to be a train of cars going all the way to the end of the race right now as Dominic is getting very close to Tommy right now. Not able to get by as yet. He's still going to try and find a gap to go on here. On lap 26 right now of 29. Not a lot of laps left. He's trying to go side by side with Tommy. Let's see if he's able to get this done. And gets around. Goes. Oh no. Tommy's trying to fight it back. And let's see who's on. Oh, we got a Haas coming on the inside. That's Cuban trying to come on the inside as well. That doesn't look like it's going to end too well for these guys. I see a bit of minor contact happening between them. Dominic is up into P2. Tommy are down to P3 right now with Cuban just behind him and there in P4. Havlis trying to get in that fight as well. Side by side with Havlis. Now has to pull back and a Red Bull is off track. I think that was Tommy. They're losing quite a few positions there now. So both Mercedes got through that. Running 5th and 6th at the moment. Let's follow on in front. What's happening here? We're still following on with Havlis right now to see if he's able to get by Cuban. So Blescon still continues to lead. Dominic running in second right now, trying to get back the lead of this race as Havlis is trying to get past Cuban at the moment. Has been quite an interesting restart to this race so far. Let's see what we're missing. So Grampy getting very close to someone down there at the back. He's trying to get past the McLaren of Vacation there and has some pressure coming on in from BG Cactus down behind him in 11th. still trying to work that out, so he's gonna have to try and, oh, we got Dominic out front trying to go past and trying to take away the lead. This actually broke down pretty quickly. Dominic caught up to Bleskant very, very fast, and he's trying to get the lead away. Of course, Bleskant is under serious pressure right now. He has a train of cars, about 6 or 7 cars behind of him coming. He's about to lose a lot of positions if he makes any sort of mistakes and allow Dominic to go by here, because everyone is just going to try to get through at the same time, and this might not end too well. As we're going to have a look right now, Dominic is going to try to look for a very good gap to go on, not going to take any risk. Still chasing him down. He's going to have to probably wait for the DRS section and maybe have a good go at him on the pit straight if possible. And that's Tommy getting a position up on Havlis there. So Havlis down to P7 right now. Tommy is up to P6. Gap is down to about 0.3 of a second between Bleskant and Dominic here. This has been one heck of a race to watch, especially coming down to the end. As you said, a lot of things tend to happen down to the end of a race. We're on lap 27 right now. We're about to enter into lap 28, coming very close down to the end of the race, so not a lot of time left. And drivers are fighting for positions like crazy at the moment here. Dominic fighting for the lead. Let's see if he's able to get anywhere close to Bleskant right now. Not close enough to have a gap going here. He's going to have to still keep it in second for the moment and hopefully get it done within the next lap and a half before getting to that finish line. And both of them do have penalties. We're not going to show the penalties at the moment. Let's see how penalties change before we get to the end of this race here. Alright, let's put the penalties on here now and see what's happening. So 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds. A lot of 3-second penalties. Havlis with 8, Tojiji with 8, BG Cactus 11 seconds, Grappy 11 seconds, and Gargamel is 8 seconds. And someone is out of the race. Tommy is out of the race and Grappy is out. What's happened down in the back, we're not sure. It might just be a VSC or a safety. I'm not sure that's going to be a safety car. But something has happened down in the back. Those cars are out of the race. We might have just about 11 cars finishing this race now. So much has happened in the last bit. Let's switch this off for just a bit as we're going to come close to the end right now. As Dominic is fighting for the lead right now. Going side by side with Bleskant. Takes the lead away and goes up into P1. Cuban fighting with Bleskant there as well. Trying to go side by side with him and push through to get into P2. And he's about to do it. Let's see who's going to come out of this one. We got Dan Clement, I think, coming in P4. Just behind these guys. He's fighting it as well. Trying to get a position up. Trying to get onto the podium here before the end of this race. Bleskant is under some serious pressure right now. He needs to hold this together for one more lap if he's able to finish here and try to keep at least second. And he's down, trying to hold on to it. Cuban, oh, and we have some damage there right now. That puts Cuban up into P2, Bleskant down to P3, and we got Paulie and Don Clement coming behind. Clement is down to P5, his teammate up into P4. Not sure what happened. I think he tried to avoid the chaos in front of him between Cuban and Bleskant, but he's still in this race, still fighting it through. His teammate is now going to try maybe to get up into the podium if possible here. Let's see how well that's going to go. I'm not sure if anyone took any penalty through that just now, but I don't think anyone did. Has been a lovely race so far. A lot of battles to follow. Only 11 drivers left in the race, starting with 20, so a bit of a chaotic race from start to end, but still a lot of fun to watch. I gotta tell you, from my end, this has been one heck of a race to watch. Let's see, we got Paulie getting very close to Bleskant right now. We're coming down to the end of this race as we're in sector 3 and going. We're gonna follow on with our leader as he goes across the line in just a bit. We're trying to keep an eye on that at the moment here. With everyone coming through, this is going very well for some drivers and not too well for others, as Paul is trying to get by. We got that is Dominic coming across, going a line for P1, takes the win for the Australian Grand Prix. We got Cuban come across for P2, takes it. Bleskant takes P3, Paulie takes P4, Dan Clement goes across for P5. We got Havlis coming around, he's going to be taking P6. Let's see who's going to be losing positions now as we're coming to the heavy penalties. And that's Nimi going up into P6, Havlis down to P7, Tojiji coming around. Let's see where he's going to be going on this one here, as penalties are definitely coming into play here at the moment. And he has about 8 seconds, he should be able to keep that in P8. And does keep it. Gargamel and has 8 seconds, going to keep it in P9. BG Characters coming around. He's gonna, let's see, he should be able to keep that position with 14 seconds of penalties. And Groot will be taking P11. That is it, guys, for the Australian Grand Prix for EFRL. That was quite an interesting opening race for the season. Gotta say, And Gargamel takes it for driver of the day. Not too bad at all, so congratulations to him for taking that. Alright guys, so let's see our final positions as they are. We're going to see all the penalties and everything as it is right now. So Gargamel taking driver of the day, not too bad at all. Alright, so Dominic taking the race win, barely getting that back coming down to the end of the race. That was quite close actually. Cuban taking P2, Blescon takes P3, Paulie P4, Dan Clement takes P5, Nemi takes 6, Havlis 7, Tojiji takes 8, Gargamel takes 9th, and driver of the day and fastest lap. So congratulations to him for doing that. Gained 19 positions. Sorry, we started at 19 on the grid, so gained a lot of positions there. BG Cactus takes 10. Groot goes 11, Tommy goes 12, Grabby goes 13, Fake Asian goes 14, we got Cap in 15, Esker in 16, we got Prasek in 17, Tasico in 18, and HR12 19. Logan goes 20 because he did not get to finish the race either there. So quite a few drivers not finishing the race, but still yet quite an interesting session. That was a lot of fun to watch. Gotta say, guys, good job on all the drivers for, everyone who made it through the race. Everyone who didn't make it through, there's always the next race. That's going to be round 2 next week. So yeah, guys, thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to commentate this race. It was a lot of fun doing this. For everyone watching, once again, please do support the league, subscribe to the channel, leave the video a like. I see about 8 likes right now and about 146 people check the video out, so please leave a like on the video. That was a lot of fun for first race of the season. Enjoy doing that. Gotta say, I'm gonna be off ending this stream right now, guys, and I got a Formula 2 league to go stream for just after this. If you guys want to watch that race, check that out on my channel. Just ask Dan for the link, he'll give it to you. Thank you guys again for joining on the session. It was a lot of fun.